Welcome everyone to the Wine Stain. I'm Dave Cerfozo. Glad you could join us today. We're going to try a couple of wines, Zinfandels, from the Rosenblum cellars on today's show. We have one, it's called Cuvée 33, which is their lower priced Zinfandel. And we're also going to try one from Paso Robles that is more of a mid-priced one, maybe a little bit on the lower end of the mid-price. So we're going to try those out for you today. Rosenblum Cellars is an interesting winery. They're known as an urban winery, meaning that they don't have vineyards out back where they source the fruit from. They're located actually in a warehouse on the docks in Alameda. And so it's kind of a unique situation. It started in about 1978. A gentleman named Kent Rosenblum put this together, and he is known as the King of Zin. He has, I think, 28 different Zinfandels on his line right now. And one of the other things that he also has out there are some of the Rhone varietals, Petit Syrah, Syrah. He uses them in blending, and then he also puts them out on their own. So we're going to try a couple of them today. The Cuvée 33 I see around quite a bit. It's readily available. It's in grocery stores, and I've seen it for a number of years now. The Paso Robles one, haven't seen as much, but it can be found easily enough. So if we like them, hopefully they're easy to find for you. Let's try the Cuvée 33. This wine is 88% Zinfandel, 12% Petit Syrah. The alcohol content on this wine is, I believe, 14.5%. And I think the most important thing is, let's see how it is. First thing I got out of this very strongly was strawberry jam. You crack open the jar and you're spreading it out on your muffin or your toast or something like that. That was my initial smell there. Also raspberries, nice bright red raspberries were the two predominant aromas there on the nose. I love smelling wine. Also got a little bit of something tart in there. Not sure if it was cherries, maybe cranberries, something along those lines. And those were the main smells we got. So let's see how it tastes. Okay. Some folks were asking me the other day why I swish it around in there. I do it for a number of different reasons. Sometimes you'll tell if there's alcohol spiking, if there is, and which has to do with the construction of the wine itself. You'll feel little pinpricks in your mouth. Felt a little with this one, but not much at all. The finish on this wine, pretty good. Lasted for a while. Nice, well-made wine. Not terribly complex. And a lot of Zinfandels aren't necessarily all that complex, but this one is pretty straightforward. And for a $12 bottle of wine, it's not bad. There's a few of them that are out that I would recommend in this price range, this now being one of them. There's one from Klein, K-L-I-N-E, that's not too bad in the same range. And then there's a lower priced one, not quite up to this level, but a lot better than a lot of the other $5 to $7 ones, and that's Dancing Bull. So not a bad wine. In that price range, it's comparable with a lot of them, and it probably at the higher end of those. All right, Paso Robles. Paso Robles has a strong place in my heart for a number of reasons. The strongest of which is that my parents lived there, and that's where I developed my love for wine, was visiting them and going to the wineries up in Paso Robles back when Paso Robles was not really even on the map as far as wine goes. And we'd go out and try wines, and I was astounded by the quality of the wines. I just didn't understand why nobody else got it, but people are starting to get it now, so it's good. There's a billion wineries up there now. There was probably 30 or 40, I think, when I first started going. There's up well over 200 now. There's a certain aroma that comes from Paso Robles wines, and this wine has it as well. There's something that's in the earth. I don't know if it just speaks to me or if it it speaks to a lot of folks, but I always get it in wines from Paso Robles. This one is also has some Rhone varietals in it. It has the Petite Syrah as well, just like this one. A little bit more, as a matter of fact. This is 78% Zinfandel and 22% Petite Syrah. Alcohol content, a little bit higher. It's about 15.1 on this one. And just from the initial smell, aromas of this wine, there's a little bit more happening with this one. You get a lot of, in this wine, overripe fruit. Not rotten, not anything like that, but you know that nice pungent smell that you get from fruit that is just a little bit further than it needs to be. Whether it's plums, which I have in here, nectarines, peaches, all of those, what do they call them, the stone fruits, I'm getting a lot of that in here. A little bit of a leather smell, but pretty light. And a slight wet grass sort of feeling, not like you get in a Sauvignon Blanc where you get very grassy. This one is more of like clippings or something like that have been sitting out for a day or so, and you got a little bit of that grassy smell. So so far seems pretty unique. Let's give it a try. Much bolder, bigger wine. It has that peppery feel that you get a lot of time, most of the time, actually, with Zinfandels. But there's a bigness to this wine, much like you get in a Cabernet or a Bordeaux. Not quite to that extent, but it's certainly not a thin wine. It's a very nice wine, and for the price range, this is a nice wine. I would put this in the higher end of recommendations for Zinfandels in that just under $20 range. I enjoy this wine quite a bit. It has a lot going for it. So, as a matter of fact, it has so much going for it. I'm going to go out and grill myself a steak right now, and this is going to go along with it because I plan on having myself a good evening. And I invite you to have yourself a good evening as well. We'll see you right here next week on the Wine Stain. Good night.